So let's welcome to the Grand Opera House in Macon, Georgia, one of the most talented gospel groups in America, Wendy Bagwell and the Sunliters.
Now you know why we wanted to come to Macon. See, you done that the first time we ever come to this town about 25 years ago, and we never did forget it. There's a few towns we've tried to forget, but not this one. The rain keeps falling, and the ground's soaking wet. Out of last year's crop, I ain't gathered nothing yet. But I still recall the last words I heard my pappy say. If a man's got the will, he'll make it some way. My brother come by, borrowed my last 10. Probably be another year before I see him again. Loaning money to kin folks just never did pay. But I got the will, I'll make it some way. My wife and 12 kids are all down with the flu, and I guess I'll wind up catching it too. The doctor said the stork was headed back our way, but I got the will, I'll make it some way. I went down to the banker to see about a loan. I'd have come out a lot better if I'd have just stayed at home. I still got last year's loan to pay, but I got the will, I'll make it some way. Bill collectors, they just keep on coming by. Ain't received no money and they're all wondering why. I done been sued by 2 of them today, but I got the will, I'll make it some way. The energy crisis got folks shook up a bit, and I'm afraid that we ain't seen the worst of it yet. But the Lord himself promised that he'd never forsake, and I got the will, I'll make it some way. Got a telegram this morning, my uncle passed away. That sure was bad news for me to receive today. He's got 5 big old oil wells, pumping 100 barrels a day. And I got his will, I'll make it some way. Not long ago, now this is the truth, what I'm telling you in my head. Not long ago, we was out in Oklahoma at the Ebenezer Freewill Baptist Church, all day singing and dinner on the ground, homecoming. And singing on the program that day was a blind family. Now then, if I told you who they was, some of you'd know them, because they sing in churches all around the country. And they're singing on the program, and that church is so full you couldn't put another human being in it. I mean, they had them standing lined up around the walls. And them blind folks, this group of blind folks got up on the pulpit to sing, and there's one little aisle right down the center. They even had chairs out, and then there's one little aisle right straight across in front of the pulpit, and that was all. And they got up there on the pulpit to sing, and when they got up there, they realized there wasn't enough room up there for them 3 big old German police C&I dogs they had with them. And they didn't know what to do with them, so this feller that was in charge of them just laid them all 3 right down there in front of the pulpit. And the preacher got a little bit worried about it. And he went over to the fella in charge of those blind folks, and he said, "Brother," he said, "will them dogs be all right down there?" That man said, "Let me tell you something about them dogs." He said, "Don't worry about them dogs." He said, "Them dogs are highly trained." He said, "Them dogs will lay right there till I tell them to move, no matter what happens." He said, "Preacher," he said, "what you preach to that crowd out there, they may forget. But them dogs don't forget. Them dogs will be right there. Them dogs will lay right there and starve to death if I didn't tell them to move. Preacher said, all right, I ain't going to worry about them. He said, don't you worry about it. So they was all jammed and crowded in there. You couldn't move. And when them folks got up and started singing, and boy, they sing them kind of songs that'll tear your heart out. That crowd was all caught up in it. Didn't nobody even notice when that big old yeller cat come walking down the center aisle of that church. Didn't nobody even see it, except them 3 big old German police dogs. You know what they done? They forgot. You'd have thought that old cat would have turned around and shot right back out that front door, but it didn't. Shot right out under them benches over on this side, right over here. You'd have also thought whenever you went in that church that there wasn't room under them benches for them 3 big old German police dogs, but there was. I mean, they just disappeared from where they was, and pandemonium set in. Let me tell you something. When you sitting in church and you all caught up, and these blind folks up there singing them songs like they sing them, the last thing in this world you expect is a foreign object on your legs. When you get old yeller cat up one of them, German police dog up the other, and make you do things you didn't have no idea you could do. I mean, they was flat-footing from the sitting position, and that ain't easy. They was walking them benches. It was one of them look out, Sadie, ain't no door, there is now situations. I mean, you could tell everywhere everything went under there by the way there's exploding up out of their seats. And they just absolutely wrecked that side of the church. If they was trying to come forward, they was trying to go backwards. Preacher didn't know what happened. He ain't even seen them leave. While they started attacking him, he flat-footed that pulpit. Geraldine flat-footed him. That little old choir loft back behind us had room for about 20 people. Had 40 in it and 40 on the way. Now the crowd over on this side of the church didn't have no idea what was going on over on this side. They thought an old-fashioned shouting revival done broke out. Honey, they come up out of their seats shouting just about as loud as this crowd yelled. The only difference was they're shouting glory, hallelujah, and this bunch is shouting, Lord, help me, Jesus. Back over on this side, 14 people wound up in the altar, 2 deacons and a Sunday school teacher got saved. And all the time, that old yeller cat was over here still clawing for its life. My wife said, I'll bet there's some runs in some pantyhose. I said, honey, there's some of them running out of the pantyhose that morning. And them blind folks was up there singing. They didn't have no idea what was going on. The only thing they was thinking about was they done took that job too cheap. Any of you preachers out there that's got a church that's dying right before your eyes, let me tell you what to do. Get yourself an old yeller cat, 3 German police dogs. You may not get nobody saved, but you'll scare the devil out of the crowds you got, I guess. Oh, you're super, I'll tell you. Boy, this is a beautiful crowd. Okay. Uh-oh. Mm-hmm. You know, if that was going to happen to anybody in the world, listen to that. That didn't do it. We rehearsed today. It didn't do it. But if it was going to happen to anybody in the world, it happened to me. I was born during the Depression. I've been a born loser ever since. Last week I bought a suit with 2 pair of pants, tore a hole in the coat. We walked up the road today. I ordered a tuna fish sandwich and got Charlie. You know those 2-track razors that everybody's bragging so about? My whisker jumps back in before the second blade can cut it off. This is a song my dad used to sing to me whenever I was a boy. He used to take me and my little old sister about 1.5 miles from our house on Saturday to watch an old freight train come by. It wasn't no big thing, but it's mighty big for me and my little old sister. He used to sing an old gospel folk song called This Train to kind of get us in the mood. And I remember one time when that old freight train was just barely in view. My dad said, boy, you listen real close as this old freight train comes by, and you can hear it whispering Jesus. I didn't even know what he meant, but I listened. And as the drivers rolled on that old freight train, come by me whispering Jesus. I was telling the girls about that in the bus one day. Started singing this old song that my dad used to sing to me. Little Jan started making the drivers roll on that old freight train by whispering Jesus. Geraldine made the whistle. We come up with a little old song, goes something other like this right here. Coming around the curve, puffing and a blowing, straining every nerve. Get on board, get on board, well get on board. There's room for me well, this train is bound for glory. This train is bound for glory. This train is bound for glory. Don't care nothing but the rights and the holy. This train bound for glory. This train. The engineer is ready, throttle in his hand. Gonna take them children to that promised land. Get on board. Get on board. We'll get on board. think of it in a minute. I tell you what, if you don't think that's hard to do just for fun of it on the way home tonight, just as hard as you can go, you try that for 4 or 5 minutes. Nearly blow the top of your head off. We had to pick the one in our group had the most hot air in her for this song. I'll tell you when to ooze. You don't ooze like it through talk. Boy, you can't hardly find no help worth nothing out here. After 26 years, she still don't know when to ooze. On the back of her shoes, we had to print TGIF. That means toes go in first. You ready? Well, this train is bound for glory, this train. Yeah, this train is bound for glory, this train. This train is bound for glory. Don't care nothing but the rats and the holy. This train bound for glory, this train. Yeah, this train. Aha, this train.
Play me some gospel music. Sing me a good old gospel song with a good gospel beat that starts moving my feet and words we can all sing along.
Some say we have to be careful with the words that we sing in our song. They say don't offend, it's a means to an end. Some say the music is changing and the old sound is dead, so they say you've got to have soul or at least rock and roll in the songs that we're singing today. Well, that may be true for some people, but for me, you just can't go wrong. Sing a sweet melody and some close harmony. And you've got a good old gospel song. Play me some gospel music. Yeah, sing me a good old gospel song with a good gospel beat that starts moving my feet. And words we can all sing along. Like there's power, wonder-working power in the blood of the Lamb. I'm on my way, Canaan land, standing on the promises of God. Oh, who will come and know it? Come on. Play me some gospel music and sing me a good old gospel song with a good gospel beat that starts moving my feet. And words we can all sing along. And words we can all sing along.
You know, the awfulest place in the world to get tickled, and I kind of consider myself an expert on laughter because laughing is what I like to do. I feel like all God's children got a lot to laugh and smile about. But the awfulest place in the world to get tickled is in church. Did you ever get tickled in church? It's happened to me a lot of times, and it's a worse place. My place, my pew is on the second row. And that preacher is always looking right down my throat. This is a fact, what I'm going to tell you with my hand up. Not long ago, or a little while back now, our preacher started the preaching, and all at once he looked over there, and he saw old Sister Swafford, whose husband had just died. And he said, Sister Swafford, you look to me like you want to testify. And that old saint of God got up and started testifying, and I thought I'd absolutely choke to death. By the time she sat down, another old saint of God started up and told what the Lord had done for them, and then another one, just like that, all over the church. Finally, Ol Myrtle Liggett got up. Ol Myrtle said, what a blessing it had all been to her. She said, you probably noticed that I hadn't been to church for 4 or 5 weeks. She said, even us Christians can get away from the Lord and get to running around with the old devil and stay out of church. She said, but I want you to know that although I got to running around with the old devil, I'm back now. I've been blessed today, and I'm proud I'm back in church. And I was about to squall because I'd been missing Ol Myrtle too. And then all at once I started getting tickled. I didn't want to get tickled. The last thing in the world I wanted to do was get tickled because everybody was all choked up at that time. I even tried to act religious, covered up or something, but I just got tickled and tickled her. I couldn't think about nothing except to wonder who the old devil was. I even looked around the church, see if I could spot him down in his book. That's a fact with my hand up. We're not going to keep you here all night long. We're going to let everybody out of here in plenty of time for Sunday school and church tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Saturday. Tomorrow's Saturday.
I was talking to the Seventh-day Adventist. Today is Friday. Is that right? Okay. I knew it was right near the weekend. He rode into town on Friday with the sun straight up at noon. And the people wondered about the man. Whispers started soon. His horse was black and shining. He sat tall upon the mount. And the long, deep scars upon his face was more than you could count.
He was broad, he was tall, he was quick with his hands. This dark, mysterious man. He was broad, he was tall, he was quick with his hands. This dark, mysterious man.
Some folks had started up a church and were nailing on the roof. But they had been warned of trouble. Was this man then the proof? The mining town was wild and bad and run by ruthless men. They didn't want a church there. Some preacher shouting sin. Do we go and see what the stranger wants, or do we turn and run? Then they noticed on his hip the stranger wore no gun. But then when he removed his coat, there the pistols hung, with a barrel 12 full inches long, as big as pistols come. He took a coin from in his vest and he threw it toward the sky. Like a bolt of lightning drew and fired. How many here will die? When the coin had fallen back to earth, dead sinner is what they saw. He had hit the coin dead center. No one even saw him draw. Now you've seen me fire my weapons. You folks, I now beseech. The new church opened Sunday. Come and see if I can preach. Then he turned and walked away, this tall, mysterious man. And everyone who was there that day saw the Bible in his hand.
He was broad, he was tall, he was quick with his hands. This dark, mysterious man. He was broad, he was tall, he was quick with his hands. This dark, mysterious man. This dark, mysterious man. This dark, mysterious
Here's a song we'd like to do. You know, if you think that old devil ain't bidding for your soul every day of your life, you're wrong. Listen to this song.
My soul was on the auction block. Satan was the auctioneer. Eternity in the balance. I was trembling in fear. When Satan took the podium, I prayed to God above. Rich men with their money, Jesus with his love, and the devil said,
$75, $75 what's calling, $72 what's calling, $7 what's calling, $77 what's calling, $78. All done.
Going once, going twice, who will pay the price?
price was going higher, hands kept going up. I was sweating water, Jesus sweated blood. When Satan slammed that gavel down, I was feeling glad, 'cause Jesus' blood was more than all the money those men had. And the devil said,
$85 golden, $85, $85, $6 golden, $7 golden, $87. Hold on.
going once, going twice, Jesus paid the price. Bidding was all over, I was too stunned to think. I looked to see who saved my soul, Jesus smiled and winked. I told Satan eye to eye as he looked back at me. You can't buy and sell my soul, the Lord, my soul has been set free. Yours.
$95, $95 golden, $95, $95, $96 golden, $7 golden, $98, $98. All done.
Going once, going twice, Jesus paid the price. Going once, going twice, Jesus paid the price.
$75 golden, $75, $76 golden, $6, $7 golden, $77, $8. All done. All right, all of us know those people in church that always kind of want to run things, and I say to them kind of people, they better cool it. We all know some preachers who never preach hellfire. It's yes, ma'am, I like your new dress, and yes, sir, I like your car. And don't worry about the offering now. 50 cents will be all right. But I wonder who'd be shortchanged if the Lord should come tonight.
You'd better cool it, or you're gonna overheat. You'd better cool it, or I'll put coals beneath your feet. You'd better cool it, or you just might wake up dead. Then God closed up the clouds and went to bed.
And I once knew some deacons. They were faithful to the church. They never cussed, nor drank, nor smoked. They knew the Bible verse by verse. But they'd run that congregation and the way the preacher taught. If folks didn't do to suit them, they'd say, brother, take a walk. I knew a Christian lady, and she liked to criticize. She'd say,
Well, look at old Sarah. She's so tacky, that dress ain't even her size.
then she'd talk about her neighbors and the things the preacher said. Till the Lord got so disgusted, he rolled back the clouds and said,
You'd better cool it, or you're gonna overheat.